Um, Hello everybody. Hello Gravitrons. I'm More Gravity. Let's play chess. We're actually going to review a chess game I just finished. I played well, and I'm really glad about the outcome and so on. Uh, so this will be a brief broadcast, not a broadcast about underwear, but a broadcast that is brief in duration. So here we go, folks. I had the white pieces. This is a game in 5 minutes per side. As you can see here, my opponent played accurately, and somehow one of those games where you just are on fire, and I played incredibly accurately. So, and also it was 18 moves long, and that's it. And it's a little bit easier to be incredibly accurate at that range. Meiner nach, as the Germans would say, or in English back again, in my opinion. So let's take a look at what happened during this game. Had the white pieces. We got ourselves into a Sicilian real quick. I tried to smooth things towards an English opening, and with knight to c6 and knight to c3, we are in pretty much an English opening. Is uh, my coach didn't have much to say about that this time, and that's fine. A6 is a little bit slow. My opponent wants to stop my knight from getting a really cool shot in here on b5, but it's not necessary. You can wait till after the knight's there to push him away. So I take the time to develop my knight to f3, and after g6, it looks like there's going to be a fianchetto on the king's side. d4, and here it is, folks. We have, what do we have on our hands? A chess game. After pretty much d4, this is shaping up. I'm trying to find a good spot to pause the game at to sort of talk about what's going on. Maybe after knight takes d4, then bishop to g7. I play bishop e3. I've had I haven't looked at the statistics, but I feel like I've had good results by keeping the knight where he is on d4 and having him be protected twice because of course he's attacked to acid. No, um, he's attacked twice, so he should be protected. Well, with the bishop and the queen doing that, trades will, correct trades on d4 will be even in terms of material. White will gain some a better square for his queen, and that is probably why black won't initiate trades on black's seventh move. It's better, generally speaking, as a development of a chess player, but also in terms of the game, the very game you're playing, to uh, develop a piece instead than to make a lot of minor piece trades early. Okay, so knight f6, grand move, fine move. Black isn't worried about pawn to e5 because of knight takes e5, and yeah, here we go, folks. We got a game. This is each side has moved 7 times, so that being as even as that can be, I will look at this position. Space. White has some advantage in space. The amount of squares controlled by space has more aggressive pawns, for instance. Safety. Black will soon have a safer king. White might go towards a safer king, but it's not certain exactly when or where that will happen. Black has a small to moderate edge in king safety. Mobility. I'll go with white. We look at the queen is so ready for action. Black's queen is also ready for action, but white has these awesome developed knights. I'm with white for mobility on this one, folks. Probably a mild edge in mobility. Maybe pushing moderate. I don't know. A mild edge in mobility. Next up, material. Material's even. This one's easy. Each side has the same uh, pieces as the others so far. And then we've got initiative. Well, it's White's turn to move. So White, you know, has that going for him. Um, Whether this is a position that White would really play for the initiative and try to force things by aggressive move after aggressive move, aggressive move after aggressive move after aggressive move, that's less clear. You look for forcing moves and exchanges when you're evaluating initiative, and you know the knight at d4 takes knight at c6 move is just not all that compelling for me. Take towards the center, and you got more pawns in the center. Take away from the center, maybe there's a queen trade. I don't know. Probably take towards the center in light of that, but depends on how you feel about playing a queenless game too. So, uh, this is all in with respect to initiative. Let's say it's more equal, even as it's white's turn to move. That black has some moves that could lead to black having the initiative. I don't know. Let's say that's equal, and then lastly, clock. I've divided time into initiative and clock for the sake of understanding which one we're talking about when. And clock, my opponent has a 5-second advantage on his clock on a game that has 5 minutes at the start per side. So it's not a big edge, but yeah, I'm aware that I'm a clock pressure addict, as they say. The best thing to do would be just play more quickly, but yeah, I'm working on it, folks. I'm working on it. So overall, this position is, I think, a little bit better for white based off mobility and then space. So I played bishop to e2. It's not the most active move, but bishop to d3 isn't the most active move either. I mean, get it? They're sort of punting on most there, folks. But bishop to e2 is a fine move. Getting ready to castle kings. White is getting ready to castle kingside. There's this battery on the d1 h5 diagonal. We don't need to take too much stock in that yet, unless we want to make a point about it. Keep that in mind. All right, so d6, h5. Looks like white's got to make a point about it. These early pawn pushes on the king side. If I play white and I'm utilizing an early pawn push on the king side, I've had a lot of really interesting and fun games result from that. So here I play pawn to h4. I think I can make a rush and against black's king maybe. A number of pieces all pointed towards black's king side. Let the pawns kind of like pry open the initial defenses, and then bishops and knights and rooks that would be defenders become targets. And so my opponent doesn't bite. Sometimes here with h5, depending on the position and the opponent, black will either try to capture will capture the pawn on h5 with knight or pawn, and it leads to a different game. Rook e8, so that without black having bitten, I push to h6, and this hole on g7 is going to be a long-term advantage for a long-term asset for white. This pawn is not easily pried loose from its aggressive stance, given how it's supported twice and by pieces that are reasonably far away from black's army. So what's better than one pawn on a pawn storm? Two pawns on a pawn storm. And we find that black is becoming starting to become cramped. Somehow we think that this knight might play a starring role. The knights, when pieces get cramped like this, the knights sometimes find their way to some kind of protected spot, or they get an outpost or something. They become superstars in tight quarters. So here we move knight to d5. Great outpost with tempo. Some dynamic potential on the king's side. The queen's dynamic potential on the queen side is not ruled out, and my opponent wants to simplify things by trading queens. I say, okay, I want that too, because after the trade, there's this moment where my opponent has to observe c7 as a square where these rooks might become forked. Trade of minor pieces, the threat still lingers, and with trades of pieces sometimes a refresh of our calculating mind. If we didn't catch it the first time and say, hey, we got to note this for later, then we don't see the board as anew, and we'll play a move like e6. This is my opponent's only real mistake this game, but because of how I've used pawn storms with protected pawns and how I've placed my knight aggressively, I'm given the move knight to c7, and white will secure a rook, one or the other rook, and it also looks like he's either going to get his own piece value on top of that and then be smushed, as my uncle would say, and then be captured, or he's going to skate away somehow free, and that's also good. So this is a full rook, and the knight that captures that full rook is still active and about. So that's that. What I think I'm going to do, my friends, is finish this position out against Torch 4, playing as the computer on maximum. Okay, so my opponent wants to dictate which rook I capture, and it's going to be this one here, and it'll be fine to rush towards. No, we don't need to quite do that. F4 is a better move. No. Okay, let's go back. Give myself some time. Bishop E7. Huh. Improve your worst piece, maybe. So it's clear. Torch has me on this. So let's look at. See if I can do it given a better start. The computer says bishop e3 here. Trade naturally, but it's not well timed, I guess. Yeah, like we know, the computer is crushing humans. So, uh, going back to, I thought 4.3 points of advantage here to start relying, of course, again on the computer's calculations. But I thought, White's going to be up a full rook in material, and I thought actually had the better of the dynamic continue of a dynamic continuation from there. So it turns out that Torch sort of barreled through me, and that's that. Sorry, I said this would be a brief evaluation, and it turned into some of me hemming and hawing over the wonders of modern chess computers. But I thought I played a good game. This is new in my repertoire, folks. I'll explain. New in my repertoire. So far so good, but and this being strong in this area. This is new in my repertoire. The bishop to e3, and I like this pawn storm too. So good moves here by White. I still think eventually I could get this continuation to work for White, but not right now. And now I don't know what to do. I said it'd be a brief broadcast, but I still have the energy to play chess. Not sure I want to. Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at my game history. Okay, so that's fine. All these moves, all these games are quick games so far today. All right. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Have a great night.